Good morning, Year 9 STEM. Today I'm going to quickly run through the instructions for our lesson. We are not on Teams today. You just need to watch the video and then follow the instructions on this PowerPoint. As always, this PowerPoint is attached to DayMap. So we are starting the first of our 4 STEM Games challenges and you're completing the Windy City Challenge. Your task today is to get prepared for Monday or Tuesday. Actually, I think our next lesson's on Tuesday. Sorry, guys. All right, learning intentions. All right, this is the PowerPoint I'm going to use all next week. It's quite vague, and that's for a purpose because I want you guys to get creative. So what we're going to be doing is making a paper tower that can withstand a great strength of wind. You need to satisfy the constraints of the task. You need to design your paper tower today. You're going to test and evaluate your prototype next week. And you need to complete the record as you're going. We went through the record on Thursday's lesson as well. So guys, you've already come up with a basic design in your books yesterday. Today, you're starting to bring that design to life. I'm assuming most of you guys will have the materials at home. So, aim, you need to build a 35 centimeter tower out of paper that can withstand great strengths of wind. Your constraints. So these are the things it must be or must have. It must be at least 35 centimeters tall. It must be able to hold a washer at the top. This washer cannot fall off the tower when it's exposed to the wind. We'll be using a big fan on in our lessons next week. That's going to act as the wind. So you need to build your tower before we get there. All right, it must be freestanding, so you can't stick your tower to the floor. So it needs to be able to stand on its own. You can only use 4 pieces of paper and 2 meters of tape. All right, so all you need at home is 4 pieces of paper, 2 meters of tape, and probably some scissors because you are allowed to cut the paper. You need to take into consideration that you want the tower to be stable but not catch the wind. So if you make the tower really wide, yes, it's going to be stable, but it's also going to catch that wind. If you stuff it up, you can trade in your first design for a fresh set of materials once you've tested it. So just bring your original design in on Tuesday. Please keep track of your progress using the handout. This will be evidence and will go towards your points. So we're going to track these as points. Each question on the handout or the data record is worth 5 points, and you're going to track your progress. And whoever wins at the end gets some chocolate. Okay, so I explained that on Wednesday. 1-star, 2-star, 3-star options for this task. For the 1-star, you can make the base as wide as you want. Remember, we need to make sure the tower doesn't catch the wind too much though, because otherwise it will blow over. 2-star, your maximum surface area of the base is 1,218 centimeters squared. You're going to decide those dimensions yourself, okay? So you're going to have to incorporate a little bit of math there. And then for the 3-star, the maximum surface area can be 609 centimeters squared. Obviously, the smaller the surface area is on the bottom, the harder it is for your tower to stand stable, but there are some reinforcements and things that you can do. Today's task, you need to complete parts 1 and 2 of the scaffold in lots of detail. I'm going to show you on the next slide. You can't obviously do that on a physical copy of the record unless you've got a printer at home. Just draft it in your book and you can copy it over onto the record next week. Then, fun part, you get to start building your paper tower using your materials at home. I want you to submit a photo on DayMap of your design, so what you've designed and your actual tower. And you need to be ready to test on Monday. I think our next lesson's on Tuesday, sorry, so that's my mistake. I'll fix that in the PowerPoint. All right. When we're talking about designing when you create your design, you need to make sure that your design is labeled and there's lots of detail included. So this is an umbrella hat example. This is not a tower example, but it's there to support you without giving away any sort of hints and clues as to what you can do with your tower. So see how we've labelled everything. We've labelled the person. We've labelled what we're making the buckle out of, soft material, that's black strap, that's elastic. We've said the colour, we're going to say what the hat's made out of. We're using that additional detail, so you're not just pointing at it and saying hat. You're saying it's made of plastic, all right? And then you get to the next part and you're going to explain in detail why you are using these materials, okay? So, and how you're using them. So I've done an example here for you. You might use one piece of paper as the base, so you need to explain you're using it as a base, you're using it to create a large surface area on the base of the tower to keep it stable. You're going to use 2.5 pieces of paper as a tower, rolled up really tight to give the tower some extra strength when standing in the wind. You might use half a piece of paper as a capsule at the top to hold the washer up the top without it falling out. And you use sticky tape to reinforce the structure of the tower and secure it well to the base. Okay, so do you see how for this tower example, I have said what I'm using and specifically how I'm using it and why that will be effective. Okay, so that's your instructions today. Everything needs to be included in your book at the moment, so you need to, I will attach the scaffold. You can just copy that those parts into your book though, and then you get to build your tower. So I'd like to see a photo of your design and tower by the end of the lesson. If you have any questions, or please reach out on Teams.